So now we're going to talk about eighth notes. This is a new rhythm. Basically, we're taking the beat, which is a quarter note, and we're breaking it up into two equal parts. Now visually, you'll notice that the eighth note looks a little different than the other rhythms we've studied. There's a new component in the symbol. Eighth notes can be written either as single, individual symbols, in which case they will have a little flag placed on the stem. And depending on if the stem goes up or down, the flag is placed accordingly. When you have a group of eighth notes, two or more of them together, rather than having a flag, they are connected with what we call a beam. So here you see two eighth note G's. There's another two eighth note G's. And then here these are two eighth note E's, etc. Now when we count eighth notes, we actually take the beat and we put in between each beat count the syllable and. So if these are quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, eighth notes would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Right? So the first thing we'll do here is try a very, very simple exercise, which is 17A. And this is just on open strings. All we're going to be doing here is practicing the rhythm. As far as plucking, you can simply pluck with rest strokes. And I will count along with the example so that you can place your plucks in the correct spot. We're going to use rest strokes, thumb on the sixth string. You can prepare your middle finger on the first string to pluck that, since that's where we're starting. I will count us in with a 4-count count-in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. The tendency is to want to continue the eighth notes once you start plucking them, so you have to distinguish between the quarter note and the faster eighth note. So what follows here is a series of melodies, all that employ the eighth notes. And you will be selecting one of these to practice. So we're going to look at Estudio by Fernando Sor. This is a short little melody that uses eighth notes. And the right hand fingering is indicated, but I imagine that most of you will focus on the left hand in this case, since we'll be fretting different notes. Every note that we use will be contained within the first position. So here is Estudio by Fernando Sor. I'm going to give you 2 measures of count-in. I will count 1, 2, 1, 2, and then begin. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now here is Petite March. This is another piece that uses eighth notes. And in this case, we start with a pickup or an anacrusis. Remember that a pickup is when we begin with an incomplete measure, or another way of thinking of that is when we begin on a count other than 1. In this case, this one's in duple meter or 2/4, and we are going to begin on count 2. So in the count in here, you'll hear me go 1, 2, 1, and then we start on count 2. And that is our pickup D note. So for this one, you can use free strokes or rest strokes in the right hand. Again, most of you will be focusing on the notes that are fretted. 1, 2, 1. Okay, now here we have Allegretto by Matteo Carcassi. And in this example here, we have an eighth note anacrusis or pickup. So this is a little trickier. We're also in 2/4 time, but this time we have to start in between the beats. So the count-in will sound something like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, and. So we actually have to start on the and before the beginning of the full measure. So it's a little trickier. So here is Allegretto by Matteo Carcassi. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Okay, now a longer melody, also with a pickup. This is Amazing Grace, famous folk tune. And in this case, we have a lot of mixed rhythms. Some of them are very long. If you look, including ties, the longest sound here, or pitch, is sustained for 5 full counts because we have a dotted half note tied to another half note. So that's quite a long space, but you want to make sure you hold it and count for the full amount. Again, we will start with an anacrusis here, or a pickup, on count 3 in this case. We're in 3-meter or triple meter. And this is a fairly slow melody with some mixed up rhythms, so it may take a little practice. I'm going to give you only 2 counts of pickup before we begin. 1, 2.